do whatever we can really to bring the new challenge out to as many cities, as many markets as we can over the first couple months. So we set out a few weeks ago on a tour. We're actually visiting 72 different cities. We're flying over 72,000 miles, and we're doing that in about 37 days. So it's been a whirlwind. I woke up this morning, I had a conference call, True Story, and she's like, "Where are you?" And I couldn't remember where I was. True Story, I was like, I don't know where I am right now. So it has been a blast. But I did recall last night we were out there in Philly, had an amazing time. Matter of fact, after the event, of course, we took a couple of the leaders, like, what do we do? We got a couple hours after the event. And of course, we grabbed an iPod and a speaker, blasted Rocky tunes, and ran up the stairs late last night. And I'm like, how many of you guys have actually done that in the room? Come on, be honest, right? So, we don't have a whole lot of time in York. If we were to do something that would like articulate York, what would that be?
Horse and buggy ride.
I had to go find a horse and buggy later tonight. Is that how this works? Harley based out here. So we like to have fun, and one of the things that I love most in seeing all these events, I've seen that video you guys watched quite a few times actually, and one of the things that I love most is always hearing those stories, and you guys, those were some amazing stories you just heard. So many people losing weight, transforming their body. That's a lot of BMWs for this small of a room. A lot of BMWs. How many of you guys love hearing the stories? Someone asked me a few weeks ago. They said, Blake, what are you most proud of being one of 3 individuals that has, really been with this company since it was an idea? Which is kind of crazy, right? If you think I'm one of 3 people that has been with ViSalus since it was an idea. How many of you guys have ever had a good idea before? How many of you guys have ever taken a shower before? We all have good ideas, right? I mean, we all have good ideas, but to watch an idea not become more than just a company, really become what I believe today is a movement. I mean, it's crazy. When you see that video, play, and it talks about millions of people, that's literal, right? That's not metaphorical. That's millions of people. We've helped lose millions of pounds over the last few years. I have no idea where it goes, but it's gone, right? Millions of pounds. And you guys, it's been a true movement. And it's a humbling place to be, to go from the very beginning to where we are today. And someone asked me, they said, what are you most proud of? What is something that you love the most? And I have to say, the thing that I think is the coolest is the culture or the community that has been developed around our mission. I'm a firm believer that you can judge a company, you can judge leadership, you can judge a lot by the people that it attracts. Would you guys agree with me on that one? And one of the things that I love is I'm most proud of always meeting such great people, such true hearts, such passion for helping others in markets all across North America. And just from the conversations I've had here tonight, I think there's a lot of great people in the room. You guys tell me, York, is there a lot of great people in the room here tonight? How do you guys think this is good? We started ViSalus 8 years ago. Matter of fact, coming up in a couple weeks will be our 8-year birthday. And we started 8 years ago with a really simple mission. Matter of fact, ViSalus, you heard in the video, literally translated, means life, health, prosperity. Vi means life, Salus means health and prosperity. And those were really the foundational values that we built the idea of the company on. Started back in 2005. We wanted to create a community that stood for those 3 things. And obviously all those words can have their own definitions. To us, life was really about creating experiences. If you were to walk into my house out there in Southern California, I like to collect photo books, right? Photo books. How many of you guys have ever made those kind of cool photo books where you can kind of put all the photos? Isn't that cool you can do these days, like all digital, right? How many of you guys still have the old school photo books that you slide them in the plastic? And you open any of my photo books, and right in the front, I kind of have a kind of personal mantra. It's the story of our life are merely the pages of experiences we choose to create. And one of the things that is really in the DNA of our company is, creating those experiences, putting together different programs or promotions, events, different things to get people to do things they may have never done before, to create those kind of memories. Because wouldn't you guys agree at the end of our time on this planet, there's only going to be a few highlights that you really truly remember, right? If you guys were to look back at where you came from to where you are today, you only really remember a few things, right? It's the highlights, it's the moments, and we want to create a community that really stands for creating those experiences for people. And then obviously doing it through empowering health. You know, I think you guys got that gist very clearly. If you watch the presentation, you can get that just by hearing through stories. But, you know, really teaching people that health needs to be a priority. If I were to ask all of you guys right now, hey, should your health be a priority? Most of you guys would probably say what? Yeah. Right? I would think so. I mean, most people would say, yeah, my health should be a priority. But I think we're all also willing to admit that sometimes with today's fast pace, right, the rate at which we run, the things we have to do, sometimes our own health falls lower and lower and lower on our priority list. Are any of us guilty of that sometimes in the room, right? So our mission was to say, look, you don't have to wait until. You guys know what I mean when I say until? How many of you have had that moment one day where you woke up and it was just like any other day, right? You went through your morning routine, you were on your way to work, you were doing through, no, same thing you did yesterday and the day before. But all of a sudden, in that day, you got some sort of news, right? Some sort of news from a doctor, a loved one, a family member, right? Someone got sick, something happened, and all of a sudden, you got that rude wake-up call, right, in that moment, and you realize how precious life is, and you realize in that moment that without health, we have what? Nothing. Who's had an experience? So our mission was to create a community that said, look, you don't have to wait until. You don't have to wait until life smacks you upside the head and say, hey, take care of yourself, right? There's no better time than when to start taking care of your health. No better time than now. And to do it through prosperity, right? Entrepreneurship. And, you know, for those of you guys that heard my story, some of you guys heard it last night, you know, myself, Nick, and Ryan, we all have kind of the similar things in common, that it was really entrepreneurship that changed kind of our destiny. Matter of fact, a lot of people assume when they meet us, you know, we're all relatively young, they assume we came from some business background or business pedigree, some, you know, family tree of entrepreneurs. And you guys, the reality is all of our stories, you know, are very different, but they all are the same in the fact that we didn't come from any of that. You know, I shared last night, for those of you guys that were in Philly, I'll tell you guys, I grew up in a household that was the complete opposite of entrepreneurship. You know, my dad was a cop, my mom was a principal. I appreciate you laughing at my pain. Right? And I was brought up in an environment where, you know, if you wanted to be successful, it was all about how smart you were, the grades that you brought home. And that was the path that I followed to an absolute T. And then all of a sudden, when I was 19 years old, I got introduced to an entire different environment, a concept called entrepreneurship. I was invited to look at the industry you guys are looking at here tonight for the very first time. And it totally shifted my paradigm. For the first time, I saw there was a different way. There was something else outside of the 9-to-5, something else outside of the 40-40 plan. Right? There was a way where you could achieve financial independence, financial freedom. And you can enjoy and have a passion for what you're doing. You guys, that idea sounded good to me. How about you guys? Right? And you know that old saying, you can only surround yourself with those type of people for so long before it starts to rub off. How many of you guys you become like those you surround yourself with? Right? You guys, and I was just interjected in that community at a really young age. I remember sitting there when I was 19, 20, 21 years old, right, watching people that had, you know, the careers and the jobs that I was taught I was supposed to go to school to get. And watching people that were lawyers and doctors and corporate professionals, right, standing on stage saying, you know, I'm using this vehicle of entrepreneurship to get out of what I'd spent, you know, my career doing. And I'm sitting there as a young college student scratching my head. I'm like, these people have the jobs that I'm supposed to go to school to get, and they want out to do this. I'm just going to skip that whole part in between. And that was really my rationale. That's what introduced me to this concept again, coming up on 14 years ago. I ended up having a lot of success at a young age, and then, you know, obviously parlaying that to the creation of ViSalus 8 years ago. You know, and you guys, those are the pillars that we created this company on, showing people, look, life, health, prosperity, create those moments, build those relationships. Do it through empowering health, making health our priority, and creating a vehicle of entrepreneurship that if you want to pay this forward, you can go out there and live whatever dream, make whatever income, have that lifestyle that you deserve. How many of you guys like the life, health, prosperity foundation of this company, by the way? And it's built a massive community. A community now of over 100,000 active promoters, millions of customers all across North America. Right? And the entire ViSalus community linearly focused right now, all of the energy on solving a big problem. How many of you guys would agree that what we're going through as a human species right now, the rate at which we're gaining weight, right, obesity epidemic, and the rate at which we're getting sick because of it, how many of you guys would call that a very big problem? It's a big what? Problem. It's a giant problem. A problem to the tune of 1.8 billion people right now across the world are dealing with obesity-related issues. 1.8 billion. 232 million in North America alone. Guys, on average, and I haven't spent a lot of time out here in York, but I'm willing to bet it's probably similar to a lot of the other cities that I've been to. Right? What do you guys do for fun out here? Eat. Oh boy. What do you learn in Europe? Well, they ride buggies, Harleys, and eat. On average, when you're out there looking around, hanging out in social environments, you go to the bar after, you're meeting up on your Harley on Saturday, whatever you do out here in York. On average, you look around, 7 out of 10 people around you are dealing with this issue. On average. Fact. It's a big what?
Problem.
And it's not getting any better. Matter of fact, every year the Center for Disease Control rolls out their updated statistics. Every year, it doesn't get better, it just gets what?
Worse.
Right? They're saying that by 2020, 3 out of 4 of us here in North America will be dealing with this problem. 3 out of 4. First time in human history that more people are overweight than there are people suffering from malnutrition on planet Earth. First time ever. Think about that. First time ever across this globe, there's more people overweight and obese than there are people hungry and suffering from malnutrition. How many of you guys have kids? First time ever that right now, that generation, right, our kids have a shorter life expectancy than us. First time in the human species, which last time I checked is a long time, right? You guys, it's a big what?
Problem.
It's a big problem. And it's not getting any better, it's only getting worse. And I think all of us in the room, we probably can understand what's causing the problem. I got down here and I drove in a mile past the hotel we're at right now, and sure enough, I saw the corners, right? I looked around, right? Sure enough, there's an option on every corner. And I can't blame fast food, right, for causing the entire problem. If you really think about the fast food explosion. How many of you guys have seen the fast food industry completely explode over the last few decades, right? An explosion. And you can't blame them for this, because if you think about it, fast food is meeting a lot of today's needs. How many of you guys are busy? The rest of you guys are, what, hanging out with buggies? Who's busy? Right? People are busier than they've ever been. How many of you guys know people right now that are working harder than they've ever worked before just to keep up? Who knows people in that situation? Guys, as a country, that's the state that we're in. The pace at which life is running is going faster than it's ever gone before. We're busier than we've ever been before. People are working harder than they've ever worked before. And in the midst of all that, juggling families, juggling careers, on every corner you got an option that's quick, fast, cheap, 99-cent menus, come on, right? And let's be honest, the stuff tastes good. How many of you guys like the fries? How many of you guys like the fries? Most of you guys are liars. You guys, that's the case that we're in right now, right? You got options out there that are cheap, fast, taste good, right? And they fit today's lifestyle. And that equation has caused fast food to explode over the last couple decades, and has caused us as people literally to start eating ourselves to death. You start looking at the amount of people that are really getting sick because of it, it's scary. I know we're in a smaller room here tonight, and I'm willing to bet if we had the time, we could go up and down every aisle and hear a story from everybody in this room. And I bet all of us could share a story of how this is impacting our own personal families. How many of you guys know someone close to you right now that is dealing with, and I'm not talking about gaining weight or obesity, I'm not talking about the confidence thing, I'm not talking about the self-image thing, I'm talking about how many of you know people right now that are dealing with serious health conditions that are tied to gaining weight. How many of you guys know people? Blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, heart disease. Look around the room. This is a big what?
Problem.
Right? It's not getting better, it's just getting worse. right? And you think about the options that are out there, and I know there's people in here, I heard some of the testimonies earlier, they were talking about, we've tried everything. Right? You think of the options that are out there, they don't fit today's lifestyle. They don't fit. They're so complicated, right? They're expensive. And most of the stuff does not, how many of you guys have tried the programs that taste like cardboard? Right? Now, that doesn't work. You guys, the reason the challenge became #1, right? The Body by Challenge is the #1 weight loss and fitness platform in North America. How many #1s are there? 1. How many #1s are there? 1. You guys, the reason the challenge became #1 is because we created a program that fits today's fast-paced life. Right? If you think about it, it's not that much different than what caused the fast food industry to explode. We created a program that fits people's lifestyle. Okay? If you think about it, those of you guys that are on the challenge, is the challenge simple, yes or no?
Yes.
It's simple, right? Hey, it is fast food. I bet half you guys that have been on the challenge for a while, you could probably make your shakes pretty fast in the morning, right? We had a little shake blending contest. We'd be able to see some fast food, right? What's your guys' favorite shake recipe?
Strawberry banana. Chocolate peanut butter.
What is it?
Chocolate peanut butter.
Chocolate peanut butter.
I love it. Freddie, can I get you up here too, just to fix this because the thing froze again. It's fast, right? It's simple, right? It's affordable. You guys heard on the video, right? It's all based on replacing a meal. So most of you guys that join the challenge, I challenge you guys to balance your checkbook at the end of the month, right? You're going to replace money you're already spending. Most people that join the challenge, they don't end up spending. They actually end up saving money they're already spending on eating out. So you got a simple, fast, affordable option, right? And forget just saving money. You can refer 3 and get it for absolutely what? Free. Right? And now, you just heard in the video that new this year, we're launching a 90-day, 100% money-back results guarantee. Guys, hello? Right? I don't even think McDonald's offers a guarantee on the food, right? Think about that. So now you have something that is fast, it's simple, it tastes amazing. Customers call it the shake mix that tastes like the cake mix. You guys, look at this. Fast, simple, cheap, tastes good. Same things. Same exact things that have caused us as people to go line up through the drive-thrus all over the world. The difference is instead of putting something unhealthy in your body, now you're putting something what? Healthy in your body. All right, you guys, and that's why we're growing. Thank you, sir. That's why we're growing the rate that we're growing today. You heard in the video, 1.5 million people joined the challenge last year alone. 1.5 million people. Over 500 million shakes served. I look at those numbers, I get excited about that because my mind goes, that's 500 million times someone decided to put a healthy option into their body instead of putting the super value 99-cent menu. Does that make sense to everybody? Right? And you guys, that's our mission. Our mission is while there's people out there, promoting 99 billion served, right? 99 billion burgers served, 99 billion, meals served. While all those are going on, we're not going to stop until we can say 99 billion shakes served. Does that make sense to everybody? And now we're even paying people to lose weight. How many of you, honestly, this is where we see if York is humble and honest out there. How many of you guys are willing to admit you have at least 10 pounds you can afford to lose on the challenge, right? How many of you guys wouldn't mind making $1,000 for losing that 10 pounds, right? I haven't found a fast food company out there yet that's willing to pay somebody to take their food. You guys, now you got something that's even incentivizing people to take that first step. And you think about the impact that can have. And you hear the stories that are in the room here tonight. Did I hear a lady said she lost 170 pounds?